Now, a lot of people are going to tell you you shouldn't raise peas in a raised bed. They're going to tell you they don't do well or not going to be as productive. Root system is different, whatever. I'm here to tell you peas do well in raised beds. 2 raised beds, well, you can see the distinct differences in these two. That's a demarcation there. So I have to do this every time I show these. Kind of a disclaimer, everybody wants to know where they can get these tubs, and I got them a long time ago at a business that was giving them away, throwing them away rather, and can't get any more. They're 40 inches long and about 20 or 22 inches wide, and like I said, I've got 2 of them put together, so it's about a 42 inch wide raised bed. And then I've got 13 of them, I think, across end to end. So it's about 48 feet long, almost 50 feet. And I have raised tons of stuff here for years. This is where I almost always raise my corn. It does a great job raising corn. I showed you the corn this year. But just wanted to show you the peas, and I'll show you the drip system, the drip irrigation system I have in just a second. These are the top pick purple hull peas. And boy, they came up quick. I mean, within just a few days, they came up, and they are, I guess it's been about 3 weeks, and they're already 16, 18, maybe almost 2 feet tall. The wind is up today. I hope you can hear me well. But this is peas in a raised bed. They do real well. Of course, well, I'm not making peas yet, but I will. Now, what I did when I planted these, I planted double rows in each of these tubs. Again, this is just the one tub. Over there, I have 2 tubs. This is just one tub. I planted on either side. In other words, I planted a row here and a row here. 2 rows, so it's a double row of peas. Top pick purple hull peas, and then I've got a drip irrigation line down the center of it that waters them. I'll turn it on just a second and show it to you. I did the same thing here with my corn with a drip in the middle, corn with a drip irrigation in the middle. I think you can kind of see that. That's the shutoff. I like these shutoffs. Now, I got all this at Haas. I like these shutoffs because these little blue things, because if I want to, now that this corn is dead, I don't want to water this corn, so I can just shut these, even though the drip lines are still intact, I can just shut them off and be done with it, and let it water my peas. Now, these are zipper cream peas. They didn't germinate as well. I got these at the feed store. Didn't germinate as well as the purple hull peas did, and so I've got some gaps, some little small gaps, and some that really just now started coming up. And this has been about 2 weeks for these. But anyway, you can see a little better what I've done here. I've got a row of peas here, a row of peas here. Again, this is about 20 inches inside to inside. And I've got the drip line running down the middle and peas planted on either side. The purple hull peas may have been planted a little bit thicker because I had more of those than I did these, and I didn't want to run out. I want to go ahead and get all this planted. But, they're doing pretty dang good. We'll turn this on for you. Again, I got shutoffs on every row. Row here, row there. 4 rows of peas, 2, 3, 4 rows of peas, 2 drip lines, a drip line in between each row. Each of my double rows, that's what I'm trying to say. Let me turn on the irrigation, and you can hear it and see it, and I'll show you what it's doing. All this irrigation, again, came from Haas Tools. It's the drip line, drip tape is what this is. I've got a little timer on it. This is a little mechanical timer that I've shown you before. I'll put a link to this below. I'll put my link, obviously, from Haas below. But listen to this as I turn it on. And it will get everything started. I've got the line running this way to my corn and peas, but also because of this row here, this bed, set of raised beds here, I've got a line that tees off here, comes up, goes over, then feeds this one. And then it shuts off on the end, you know, got an end closure. And you can hear the water running through there. I'll show you some drippage. Once these hoses start filling up, then they start the dripping. And again, this is drip tape. It lays flat until you turn it on, and then of course it gets round and pressurized. And it's got a drip emitter. I think it's every 8 inches or 12 inches. It's about, let me see here, about 12 inches. So we got drip right there. We got move over. We got a drip right there, drip right there. So about every 12 inches, it's got a drip line. I turn it on for 2 hours. When I turn it on, sometimes twice a day, because I just want to make sure these peas are getting plenty of water. We hadn't had rain in the past, you know, any decent rain in the past week or two, so it's getting kind of dry. And raised beds do dry out quicker. Something about and I told you these were tubs, fiberglass totes, but the bottoms are cut out, so the roots can and will go down into the native soil. But for that reason also, they dry out quicker. So these aren't wet by any means, and I water every day. I mean, that's pretty dry. So I mean, I feel a little bit of moisture, but if I gave them 4 hours a day, I don't think it'd be too much. The purple hulls, man, they've gone crazy as far as growing. These are 6 or 8 inches shorter than those. Some of those a lot less than that. These aren't tall at all. And I need to come in here and cut my corn out, because from on the right side, this side is west. So my afternoon western sun, I'm afraid these are going to get shaded out a little bit, but it actually looks like the ones getting shaded a little bit from the corn are even taller than the next ones over. So maybe the shade is a good thing. I may leave the corn, I don't know. But look at these peas. I mean, that just looks amazing. Just really looks nice. So I mean, my whole point with this obviously is to show you the peas, but also to show you that you can grow them in raised beds. And just about anything can be a raised bed. You know, everybody thinks I gotta have concrete sideboards for the raised beds, or I've got to get some womanized wood or cross ties or something, you know, and they think that a raised bed has to be made a certain way. Anything, just about, can be a raised bed. All you need is some walls, outside walls, dirt inside, and it's a raised bed. You know, if it comes out of the ground, raised above the ground, that's the only thing a raised bed is. It's a bed, a garden bed that is raised up off of the soil line. And these do a great job at that. I just, again, I can't tell you where to get them because I can't get any more, but you could take a nice Rubbermaid tote that you would get it at the store, at Walmart or somewhere, and cut the bottom out of it. And if you don't cut the bottom out of it, it's a container. It's a container garden. You need some kind of drainage, whether it be a weep hole, a little up from the bottom, or whether you punch holes in the bottom. That's going to be a container garden. But if you cut the bottom completely out, then it becomes a raised bed. You know, this is my loosely held definitions of raised bed versus containers. But so right now these are raised beds because they you know, sitting on the ground, but it's not a contained system. They have the bottoms cut out of them, and they do great. I raised some of the best onions in these things. I raised onions in a different raised bed this last year, and they did great. Don't get me wrong, that Vajayga garden bed, but I do my best onions in these. They just do great. So, and I've done them, I usually do them every year in this one right here. But that's the good thing about raised beds. You can do onions early, especially here down in the south. And then once your onions come out, then you can plant peas. Southern peas do great in the heat. They love the heat. Southern peas meaning Crowders, cream, black eyes and purple hulls, things like that. Cowpeas, some people call them. They do great. They love the heat. Now they gotta have water. If you can't water them, you know, if you can't afford to water them, then maybe it's not for you. But if you can water them, water your peas, then they will do great in the summertime. This is a great time to plant peas. Anytime in the summer is a great time to plant peas if you've got the water. You just got to have the water. So don't be afraid, first of all, to plant peas in raised beds. Secondly, don't be afraid to plant peas for the fall. These are going to start coming on in the next, they hadn't started flowering yet, anything blooming, but these are going to start producing peas probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks. It's a 75, maybe a 60-day pea, and the zippers are 75-day peas, something like that. If you like peas, raised beds is a good place to do it. If you don't have raised beds, if you got your garden tilled and it's kind of played out, dude, go out there and plant you some peas. If you get any kind of water or can water them, peas will do great. These are 2 feet tall and they are looking good. Anyway, peas, we're talking about peas and we're talking about drip irrigation. Don't be afraid of drip irrigation. It's so easy to do. Let me give you a little shot of how this works. This one comes down, now this one stops here, and I've got a shut off. At one time I was irrigating something that way, and I'm not anymore, so I've got a shut off here. But it comes down on these 4 rows, 2 different raised beds. It comes down, comes up, then I've got a T right there. 1 T comes over here, feeds that. 1 T goes over this way, feeds that. I've got a little shut off over here, a little kink in it that shuts it off here. Got a little kink that shuts it off here. So it's just basically a T with holes punched in it and the drip irrigation running down the rows. It's so easy to do. Now you have to make sure you don't do this unless you have a pressure regulator, pressure reducer. That's what that little white thing is right there. I think it gets it down to 12 psi. You gotta reduce the pressure or you start blowing those hoses off. 50 pounds, 50 psi, whatever you're running, I think mine runs 50, 55, is just too much sometimes for these fittings. Those fittings will just turn loose sometimes if the pressure is too high. 12 psi, 15 psi, maybe even 20. Depends on what you can find. Haas has this whole thing here that's got the filter and all this stuff, and then I got that at Lowe's or Home Depot somewhere. So anyway, peas me like I peas you. All right, I did a video on that a long time ago. My wife's over there picking figs. We're starting to get a bunch of figs. Here it is, peas. Get you some, plant you some, grow you some. I think you'll like it. Southern peas in the middle of dadgum summer, and they will do great if you give them a little water. I did put 10-20-10, a little strip of 10-20-10 down the middle of these peas. We wanted that middle number, that 20, that phosphorus, down the middle, a little pre-plant there. Before I planted these, I ran a little strip of 10-20-10 down the middle, and that's all I'm going to do. That's the only fertilizer they'll get, I'm sure. So they love it. I love it. Hope you love it. All right. I think that's it. We're gone.